So, I've tried to explain and show the tricks and manipulation and things like that from both sides. I don't know if you all have caught that or not, but I have. And my view of all these situations are a little bit different than all of yours. I understand that. But I didn't do this for myself. I don't like even being on camera, really. Well, you're on it a lot. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have to be if people would just listen and look at what I'm pointing out. Anybody on YouTube knows that to comment on something that you post on your channel, they don't have to subscribe, right? I have screenshots of these people subscribing to my channel before they did their little attack. Her mother, which is the one found legally responsible for the accident. I've already showed that. And the fact that none of the kids were buckled in, not even into the car seat. You Gen Xers, women that have been running your mouth, oh, well, that wasn't the. Well, it is now. And it had a very good chance of saving their life. And I would like somebody to explain to me, does anybody know what a 96 Ford Mustang is? Yeah, the fiberglass ones, tinfoil. Right. Me and my brother were driving with my nephew John, which is my sister's son, and my brother's son, which is little Willie, in the back seat of a green 96 Mustang. My brother was driving. Stick shift. Um, I did not notice until we got to Subway in Delaware, pretty much in a turn lane, getting ready to pull into the place, that my nephews had not yet put their seatbelt on. So I took mine off, turned around, and buckled them in. When my brother went to pull across, he was fucking around with the car in the middle of not being able to see what's coming at him. Um, we'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, we got hit. I did in my door, and I did not have my seatbelt on, mind you, at like 70 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's how. The reason why that car was going so fast is because he had pulled into the turn lane, but the box truck that had pulled across illegally was blocking my brother's view and everybody else's view. So when that dude went to do that, he was a young guy. You know, he wasn't looking in front of him when he went to pull back out of that turn lane. He was looking behind him, and he was nailing the gas. So by the time he turned around, my brother had popped around the end of that box truck. So he didn't even have time to stop. What I'm saying is, I had no injuries. None. My brother didn't. None of the kids did. And that was like directly into me. Literally, there's a tinfoil door in between me and this vehicle that just hit us. Walked away that day. Well, David, this was a big truck and it hit a good portion of the passenger side. No, it didn't. It barely clipped the passenger side. Barely clipped it. It did push it backwards, but it barely clipped it. I mean, you'd think by reading the police report about being entrapped and all that this thing would be all mangled up and, almost like a beer can. It's not. The engine compartment is barely crushed. Barely. As in, the engine didn't even move through the firewall. It didn't push the firewall. It didn't bend it. Nothing. So how are they entrapped? By what? And died instantly like that? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't. Also, how come look like puncture wounds to the midsection? Yeah, do you realize how much a parent has to go through to see all this? And I'm trying to keep me in a position to where I can talk about it and not really take in fully what is going on yet. And I don't want to talk like that too much because then I'm going to start going into that. And I can't right now because I have to figure this out. And I have. I am not doing this because, oh, I'm mad at my ex and I just think it's her fault. No, it's not the case. You can check anywhere in my background. I've never put any charges on her for anything she has done. Nothing. Ever. Jen, either. The only thing I ever did was try to get custody of my daughter, which I did, and I pushed for Jen to get mental help. That was it. Same thing I was going to do for Bethany. We always had an agreement that, if anything ever happened and they needed it, that, I would, if I had to, I'd take the kids until they got better. And then it would go back to the, normal. So I can go to work, this, that, and they don't miss any time, and I'm the only one sacrificing. Well, why would you do that? Because that's just who I was. I don't get it. I've showed where after putting in a PFA, as she called it, which I never knew it was called that. I always thought it was a protection order, which I already explained how that all went down and what I did. But she's on Messenger talking to me, saying, "You've never judged me, you never did this, I still feel safe with you, you're still comfortable, blah, 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 blah." This is only 3, maybe 4 weeks after she put in this peace order. Not only that, I discussed visitation and all that every other weekend, this, that, and the other. Pretty much the same thing that the judge said. That part wasn't any different. Just because it's on paper and people see it, they're like, oh, well, the judge had to. No, you don't understand. We had that agreement, and it's in the stuff with Messenger. She re-goes over it. And that's not, she's not re-going over what the judge said. She's re-going over what I said before court. Before all this bullshit report or anything like that. Really? I'm not supposed to have a contact order with her, but every time she gets to a point where she doesn't have somebody to watch the kids, I'm calling, rescheduling my jobs and watching the kids so she can go to work. Come to find out, she's not even going to work. She's going out with friends and doing other things, so she's not even making money. But there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. This is exactly what they did to slowly whittle me down to where I started losing work. I wasn't as active in the field anymore because once we got here and she went out working, she just took over, saying that she made more. No, she didn't. She didn't even cover nowhere near the amount of debt we gathered every day. So I would do stuff on the side, and I made more money than her, and I was a stay-at-home dad and just doing stuff on the side. I made 56,000 in 1 year, and she got mad. Yeah. She's like, well, my tax return's going to be huge and this and that and the other. I'm like, well, that's great, but the only reason why it's big is because of the kids. Without it, you'd be paying in. And she's like, that's not true. I said, yes, it is true. I said, do it without the kids and see what it comes up to, and then put the kids in. I guarantee you it's a big difference. Yeah. Oh, it was. But yeah, I just talk out my ass, you know. I don't know anything I'm talking about. I mean, we see videos of it everywhere, of women trying to set their man up, and the only reason why they're trying to do that, I mean, we hear what they say. Oh, well, he's doing this and that, and when you see all the stuff that he's accomplished and what he's really doing, it's nowhere near that. They're just trying to come up with some type of delusional story that people are going to believe that gets them that house and half his pay. That's it. That is literally it. This is how these gold diggers are doing this. And everybody knows it, but when they start to hear stories like this, they're like, no. The only reason why she couldn't get anything from me is because I started making it to where she couldn't. I gave her little things, well, what I thought were little things, you know, to test and see what she was going to do with them. And we ended up, I had to give up land that I owned to go and rent a piece of, or an apartment off the guy that I just got the land from a tax sale, which that means he's not happy with us. He's going to be looking for any reason to. And what does she do after that? Because I'm working steadily, she wrecks the car just before I'm going to work. Yep. In a spot where she has pulled out 1,001 times, never had a problem. Right. I'm not even going to get into it because most people are going to speculate. And I'm telling you what the facts are. You can speculate all you want. I was there. She destroyed a vehicle to cripple me and did not care if she hurt her or her unborn child that was in her stomach. Right. All because she did not want me working for a lady. Yeah. That's all it was. She was jealous. I don't know why, but she was. I've never, ever, ever done anything to make her think that way. She has, but I haven't. She's done stuff behind my back, and that's one reason why she would think that way. She'd get away with a lot when I wasn't around. She got pissed when I made friends with the one manager, and she started showing me all the security footage of the people in and out of the house while I wasn't at home. That's how I know exactly who they were on some of them. And yeah, it's crazy to say. Trust me, I couldn't believe it when I seen it. But I mean, this person had at least 3 to 4 people in and out of that home just about every other day. Sometimes more. Yep, she worked them like clockwork, man. Yeah, she did. And I'm not saying that so people are like, oh my gosh, we feel so sorry. I don't give a shit if you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you what type of person this is. These are the things they've done. This is what they were doing. This is why $35,000 of my hard-earned money went down the drain for a big formal wedding that she wanted. Well, I wanted for her. Now I see why she wasn't really worried about a courthouse wedding like she wanted, because it wasn't anything serious to her. Right. I said I'm doing this once. I don't believe in once I actually get married, I don't believe in divorce. That's another reason why I don't think I've ever actually legally tied the knot like that. But once you have a child, you're considered married. Yep. Joining of bloodlines. Yes, that is marriage. What happens when you marry 2 ketchup bottles? Don't tell me I'm that old. Nobody knows what marrying a ketchup bottle is. Stick them on top. Let the little bit that's in the other one drip into the other one so you can use all of it. It's turning 2 into 1.